There are secrets that some prophets take to their graves. Not because they forgot. Not because they didn't matter. But because they were too heavy. Too frightening. Too dangerous to be revealed while they were alive. Baba Vanga was one of those prophets. A blind woman from Bulgaria who predicted events with 85% accuracy. A seer who warned of 9/11, the 2004 tsunami, and even the exact date of her own death. But in her final days, when she had nothing left to lose, when she knew death was near, she whispered something. Something about 2026. Something she refused to speak openly about her entire life. And what she revealed in that final moment, may be the most disturbing prophecy you've ever heard. Before we begin, you need to know one thing. Like this video now. Because what you're about to discover is not a conspiracy theory. Share it with someone who feels that 2026 will be different. And if you're new to prophetic destiny, subscribe, because this channel goes where others are afraid to go. Vangelia Pandiva Gushtarova, known as Baba Vanga, was born in 1911 in Bulgaria. At age 12, she was caught in a devastating sandstorm. When she was found, her eyes were covered with sand and dust. She was blind. But something changed that day. It was as if losing her physical sight had opened up a different kind of vision. From that moment until her death in 1996, Baba Vanga made predictions that would become legendary. She predicted the fall of the Soviet Union. The Chernobyl disaster in 1986. The September 11th terrorist attacks. The Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004. The election of Barack Obama. And the exact date of her own death, August 11, 1996. Scholars estimate that 85% of her predictions have come true. But there is one prophecy she kept secret. A prophecy about 2026 that she only revealed in her final moments. And that prophecy changes everything. Now, take a deep breath. Because the 7 revelations you are about to hear will show you why Baba Vanga was so afraid to talk about 2026. Let's begin. Prophecy 1, the war that has no name. Baba Vanga spoke of a war that would begin in 2026. But when people asked, between whom, she remained silent. It was not between countries. It was not between East and West. It was something different. In her own words, recorded by her close assistants, she said, "A war will begin, but it will not be with weapons as we know them. It will be a silent war. And when people realize they are fighting, it will already be over." For decades, no one understood what this meant. But now, in 2026, the interpretation is becoming terribly clear. Baba Vanga may have seen a war of information. A war of mind control. A war waged through screens, algorithms, and digital manipulation. A war where you don't know who the enemy is because the enemy is inside your own mind. Think about it, in 2026, we are seeing artificial intelligence capable of creating fake videos indistinguishable from reality. Algorithms that shape what you think without you realizing it. Social divisions so deep that families are torn apart. And no one knows what to believe anymore. Baba Vanga predicted that in 2026, this silent war would reach its peak. And the victim would not be a country. It would be the truth itself. When no one knows what is real anymore, when brothers become enemies without knowing why, when war happens without a single shot being fired. This is the war Baba Vanga saw. And it is happening now. Prophecy 2, the Dancing Sun. One of Baba Vanga's most enigmatic visions spoke of the sun dancing in the sky in 2026. Witnesses who were with her in the 1970s report that she described it with terror in her voice. She said that crowds would see it. That some would cry. That others would fall to their knees. For years, this was interpreted as a natural phenomenon, perhaps the northern lights, a rare eclipse, or intense solar activity. But there is another interpretation. One she whispered only to her closest confidants. That dancing sun may not be the sun. It may be something that looks like the sun. Something bright. Something moving across the sky in ways that defy physics. Baba Vanga described it, light coming from the sky, moving as if it were alive. And people will look up and realize they are not alone. This prophecy has a disturbing connection to historical events. In 1917, in Fatima, Portugal, 70,000 people witnessed what they called the miracle of the dancing sun. The sun appeared to spin, change color, and descend toward the earth. The Catholic Church carefully documented this. Skeptics tried to explain it. But to this day, no one knows exactly what happened. Baba Vanga suggested that in 2026, something similar would happen again. But this time, it wouldn't be in a small village. It would be global. Cameras would capture it. Millions would witness it. And humanity would have to confront a question it has avoided for centuries. Are we really alone? The sun will dance in 2026. And when you see it, you will know, something has changed forever. Prophecy 3, the Great Famine. Baba Vanga spoke of famine. But not the famine we know. She described, people will have food, but they will not have nourishment. Their stomachs will be full, but their bodies will be dying. At first, this seemed nonsensical. How can someone be full and starving at the same time? But now, science is beginning to understand what Baba Vanga saw decades ago. By 2026. According to this prophecy, the quality of food will have degraded so much, through extreme processing, genetic modification, and environmental contamination, that people will be eating but not absorbing real nutrients. The prophecy points to three catalysts. First, collapse of global supply chains forcing dependence on ultra-processed foods. Second, climate change making the soil so poor that even fresh foods no longer have nutritional value. Third, and this is the most disturbing, synthetic food technologies being introduced en masse, presented as a solution, but causing deficiencies that no one understands. Baba Vanga saw hospitals full of weak, sick, confused people. Doctors with no answers. Because the cause was not disease. It was the silent disappearance of real nutrition. And she predicted that 2026 would be the year when this would become impossible to ignore. Children being born weaker. Healthy adults suddenly wasting away. An entire generation losing vitality without understanding why. The Great Famine of 2026 will not be a lack of food. It will be food that is no longer nourishment. Wait a minute. Before I reveal the next 4 prophecies, including the one Baba Vanga kept hidden until her death, do one thing. If what you just heard is making you think, if you're starting to see the patterns, hit that like button now. Share it with someone who needs to know. And subscribe to Prophetic Destiny, because we're just beginning to unravel what 2026 really means. The next prophecies go deeper. And the last one will touch you personally. Prophecy 4, the 2 brothers. This is the prophecy that causes the most debate. And the most fear. Baba Vanga spoke of 2 brothers who would fall. For years, people thought she was talking about literal people. 2 leaders. 2 brother countries. But according to her closest interpreters, she was talking about towers. Yes, many connect this to September 11th. And she did indeed predict that event. But she said something that few people know: the brothers will fall twice. The first time already happened in 2001. The second time, she put it in 2026. But what will fall are not physical towers. Baba Vanga used towers as symbolism for pillars of modern civilization. In 2026, according to this prophecy, two fundamental pillars of Western society will collapse simultaneously. The economic pillar, the dollar-based financial system. And the informational pillar, the internet as we know it. When the two brothers fall for the second time, she said, the world will discover that it has built its house on sand. The prophecy suggests a simultaneous event, perhaps a massive cyber attack combined with a monetary collapse, that brings down both structures at once. And just as in 2001, when the towers fell and the world was never the same again, 2026 will mark a before and after in human history. The two brothers will fall again. And this time, what comes next will be unrecognizable. Prophecy 5, the division of humanity. Baba Vanga saw humanity divide in 2026. Not by race, religion, or nationality, but by something much deeper. She described, a time will come when people will live in the same world but will not see the same reality. Brothers will become strangers. And each will swear that the other is crazy. Initially, this seemed impossible. How could people living on the same planet, seeing the same events, have completely different realities? But now, in 2026, we are seeing exactly that. Two people can watch the same event and have such opposing interpretations that it is as if they live in parallel universes. It is not just about politics. It is about everything. What is true? What is science? What is moral? What is real? Baba Vanga predicted that in 2026, this division would reach a point of no return. Families would permanently fragment. Communities would disintegrate. Countries would polarize to the point of paralysis. And most disturbing, both sides would be convinced that they are the sane ones. They are the ones who see the truth. Humanity will divide, she said, and no bridge will be strong enough to reconnect it. 2026 is the year the division becomes permanent. And the question she left behind, which side of the divide will you be on? And will you be sure you've chosen the right side? Prophecy 6, the cure and the poison. One of Baba Vanga's most contradictory visions involved medicine. She said, a great cure will come in 2026. It will save many. And it will kill many more. How can something be both a cure and a poison? For decades, no one understood. But now, the interpretation is emerging. Baba Vanga may have seen the advancement of revolutionary medical technologies, gene editing, cell therapies, personalized AI treatments. In 2026, one of these technologies will be presented to the world as the solution to a devastating disease. Maybe cancer. Maybe something new. People will celebrate. The media will proclaim victory over disease. But the prophecy continues. What cures one thing will break another. And people won't realize it until it's too late. Was she describing side effects? Unintended consequences? Or something more sinister? Some interpreters believe Baba Vanga saw a cure that works perfectly for the target disease, but damages something fundamental in human biology. Something that will only be discovered years later, when millions have already received it. The generation that receives the cure, she said, will discover that it has traded one disease for another. And the new one will be much worse. 2026 will bring the miracle cure. And no one will know that it is also the poison. Until it is too late. Prophecy 7, the awakening, the prophecy she hid until her death. And now, the final prophecy. The one Baba Vanga kept until her last days. The one she was afraid to reveal. Because it changed everything. On August 11, 1996, a few hours before her death, Baba Vanga called her closest niece. And she whispered something. She said, in 2026, many will awaken. But not as they think. Not all at once. One at a time. Like seeds that germinate at different times. Her niece asked, awaken to what? And Baba Vanga replied, to who they really are. To why they are here. To what they came to do. She described a global wave of spiritual awakening beginning in 2026. It wouldn't be religion. It wouldn't be an organized movement. It would be personal. Individual. Intimate. Ordinary people, living ordinary lives, suddenly feeling something changing inside them. A sense that there is more. That they have a purpose. That they were put here for a reason. Baba Vanga said, they won't understand at first. Some will think they're going crazy. Others will try to ignore it. But they won't be able to. And here's the part she kept hidden for so long. Some of those who awaken, will have gifts. They will see things. They will know things. They will feel things that shouldn't be possible. She was describing the emergence of a new generation of seers, prophets, psychics. Untrained. Unexpected. Ordinary people who suddenly discover they can see beyond the veil. 2026 is the year, she said, when humanity begins to remember that it is more than flesh. And some will remember before others. And then she asked the question that has haunted her niece ever since. What if you are one of them? What if you are feeling this now, watching these words, and something inside you is responding? Baba Vanga believed that the prophecy itself was a calling. That those destined to awaken would be drawn to this message. If you feel something as you hear this, a chill, a recognition, a sense of, I knew it. Perhaps it is no coincidence. Perhaps you are one of the seeds that is beginning to sprout. So remember, Baba Vanga saw 7 events for 2026, the silent war, the dancing sun, the great famine, the 2 brothers, the division, the poisonous cure, and the awakening. If this video touched something in you, like it now. Subscribe to Prophetic Destiny and turn on notifications. Because in the next video, I'll reveal what happens when 3 different prophets, Nostradamus, Baba Vanga, and Athos Salome, all agree on the same date in 2026. And what they saw, will change everything you think you know. Stay informed. Stay prepared. See you next time.